Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our talk on leading from the middle. We all know that the business environment is always evolving, and middle managers have a critical role to play in driving change innovation. This talk will explore the challenges and opportunities that comes with the leading from the middle, provide valuable insights and strategies to help you navigate this complex landscape. Whether you're a middle manager looking to enhance your leadership skills or a business professional interested in navigating change more effectively, this talk is for you. This is also the second talk of the Leadership as Practice talk series. If you're interested, check out our latest post for the first episode. Now I'm delighted to introduce our keynote speaker, who is an expert in this field and has extensive experience in leading organizational change. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Eric Kong, who will share his insights and expertise on this important topic. Now we pass the time to Eric. Hi, Eric. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to share with you about leadership as practice, particularly from the middle manager's perspective. How do they lead from the middle? When I come across talking to many middle managers during organizational change, they often tell me that they are caught in between. They are not the ones who make a decision. Usually it is the top management who make the organizational change decisions, and then they communicate to the middle managers and expect the middle managers to carry out or to execute those decisions, as well as to communicate to their lower level general staff or their team members. So middle managers often find themselves, as they say, powerless and helpless. In the sense that they don't have the power to influence the decisions. They're expected to just do it, to execute the decisions that the top management or perhaps even the corporate headquarters had already made those decisions. And when it comes to their particular region, then they just execute those decisions. They have no say in the sense that how to change it or how to execute it. They just need to do it. Now, as they communicate and carry out the organizational change, then their direct subordinates would often question why the company do this, why change? And yet the middle managers don't have all the information, or they don't even know the strategies that the top management have considered. So often they find that they are helpless in helping themselves as well as their direct reports or team members to understand the rationale behind those organizational change, not to mention how to execute those changes. So we find that in a multinational corporation setting, then apart from the organization setting, you have the top management, you have the middle managers, and then you have the general staff below, and then you have the peer managers that the managers need to work together to execute those changes. Then you have the corporate office as well as the organizational settings or the environment that is impacting on the organizations. So when we are saying that leading from the middle, very often the middle managers are the ones who have a definite impact on the effectiveness or even the success of organizational change. So usually the top management make the decisions and they execute the decisions, and then the lower level staff are resisting the decisions, and yet it is really the middle managers who need to influence and communicate those organizational change to their direct reports or the general staff, and even sometimes to the other stakeholders, including the customers. So what we need to see is that there's a dual role of middle managers during organizational change. According to Burns and Frank Lee, they looked at the leaders, particularly the middle managers, who often need to carry out the two different roles during organizational change. One is called transactional manager, another is transformational leader. Now you can see that from this chart here, then the transaction managers needs to create stability, maintain routine, minimize failure and risk among the other characteristics of transactional managers. Whereas the transformational leader need to foster change and challenge established processes and encourage and model risk taking because they want to try something new. They try out new innovations, try out new methods of doing things, and it is really not something that the middle managers used to do. So they are to ensure that there's no problems, there's no failures, and they just need to carry out the process day to day. So when I ask the middle managers which are the role that you are playing most of the time during organizational change, now majority of the middle managers will say, okay, it is a transactional manager role. Okay? Whereas a few of those middle managers would say it's transformational leader because they are entrusted with that responsibility to execute or to implement certain changes that organization had already decided. So, and yet we all understand that the middle managers actually need to do both. It's not either or, it is both. While they need to drive change, they need to maintain the operations. While they need to help people to change, they also need to stabilize their workforce without too much staff turnover. So we find that in 2022, I conduct a research in a multinational corporation in southern part of China, and I found that the middle managers actually are playing more than those two roles. Now, on the one hand, on the problem-solving side, they're the solution provider and they're the expert to the customers as well as to the senior management or to their direct reports. And then they're also an innovator and experimenter to try out new ways of doing things. There's that continuous improvement process as well as to create that learning culture, that learning environment within their teams. And then on the people management side, then they need to deal with other relationships, including the corporate people, their top management, their peers, as well as their direct reports. So they often need to play the role of a broker, someone in between, okay, and also a negotiator that they need to negotiate with different stakeholders and parties to get things done. And on the communication and coordination side, they often play the role of a project manager, particularly when they're in charge of a certain product line or certain process, then they need to carry out those projects together with other departments' support. And to the individual employees under their leadership, they are the coach, that they need to coach those employees, either they are old staff or new staff, they need the coaching from their middle managers. So we find that the middle managers often need to do a lot of communicating as well as coordination, negotiation, and also influencing work in the midst of organizational change. So when I say leading from the middle, basically the middle managers need to do all those things effectively to the top management, to the peer managers, as well as to their direct team members. So let me just talk a little bit more about how they go about to do it in terms of how they present and inform the top management about certain problems and recommend certain solutions. When they work with other peer managers or operational managers, they need to create that collaboration or that trusted partnership so that they can get things done together. When they're engaging the direct reports, their team members, they need to encourage them and also motivate them, as well as they need to execute those change decisions apart from the general work that they need to do every day. So let's look at how can the middle manager lead from the middle. Transform your communication style for leading change. When you are in a change process, the way you communicate could be very different from the normal time that you just maintain operations. So when you talk to the top management, particularly when you're dealing with a very highly complicated and complex multinational corporation organization, then you need to map out the political dynamics before you walk into the battlefield. Now that's very simple, okay? Like Ronald Halifax, the Harvard University professor, he recommends the middle managers would need to go up to the balcony. It's like a ballroom setting, okay? Go up to the balcony and look at the movement of the ballroom. Now, I find that middle managers often just bury their heads to do their routine work or their operations. They don't look around, they don't look up, they don't look far enough that they need to see what is the interaction, what are the movements and the dynamics of the ballroom. So first thing first, you need to understand the political dynamics. And then you need to identify the decision makers and the stakeholders. Okay, don't just bury your head to work things out on your own. Yes, you need to do that. But on the other hand, you need the relationship, you need the top management support to get things done. Gather information and feedback from those significant others and other reliable sources. So instead of just burying your head in solving problems, in dealing operations, you need to do one more thing as a middle manager. Listen more, talk to people more, and network more. You need all the relationship, all the network that you can get access to in order to carry out your middle manager leadership effectively. So when you talk to the top management, you need to make your business case. Now, I've seen quite a few of those executive team meetings, management team meetings, where the middle managers are presenting something to the top management. They simply present the facts and perhaps talk about the problems without really go into the details about their recommended solutions. They might have already thought about those solutions, but they don't say it clearly, okay? And often the top management will say, what will you think? Then they will say something, okay? So leading from the middle managers need to present their case and also act as like a lawyer defending your case in front of the judge and the jury. You want to get the support and the agreement from the top management in order to get things done. Now, when you need to tell a problem about certain issues, then use a constructive tone. Don't just tell the problem as it is, okay? Yes, honesty is good, but on the other hand, you need to use a constructive tone. That means you have that sense of ownership and commitment to the company and to the stakeholder to find out the solutions and solve the problem. Don't just bring the problem. Give them some recommendations and solutions. Now, ask yourself before you talk to the top management, what will the management want to know? Okay, don't just present everything. I find that many middle managers simply present all the facts. Yes, data, facts are important, okay? But think about what will the management want to know? And more important thing is you consider what will the management want to achieve. His concern or their concern is not necessarily the same as your concern, okay? You need to think about their purpose and their objectives. And then try to align that if possible, okay? What will make them change their mind to say yes? Now, those are the critical factors. You need to convince them. And what will make them change their minds to say no? Now, you better answer that question before you go into the boardroom meeting or the executive team meeting to talk to the top management, because what will make them say yes and what will make them say no, that will make the big difference. So when you talk to the top management, firstly, you want to describe the problem and the solutions, okay? Present the main benefit of the solutions, and if necessary, present the options explored and rationale behind your recommended solutions. Now, generally highlight some investment. Okay, they always ask the question, how much time, how much resources, how much money we need to invest. And finally, the estimated ROI, the return on investment, or the expected outcome that you hope to achieve through your recommended solution. Now, at the second level, when you talk to or collaborate with the peer managers, we need to build relationship with the peer managers. So we often find that peer manager or departments, they don't talk to each other. They either have this hostile relationship, okay? They often have different interests or their objectives, and then sometimes they are in conflict, and then they're just fighting for their own benefits rather than collaborate. And you can use authoritative style. Okay, you have the right, you have the verdict, you have the support from the top management. You just wanted to walk in and then get every support you can get from the other departments. Well, you can say that, but they just comply, but eventually they will still resist you. Okay, that was not the right way to lead from the middle. Now, the better way is constructive challenge, that you bring together the collaboration, okay, that we achieve a win-win. Okay, you are there not just to achieve what you want to do, but to help that peer managers to solve their problems, also to help them to achieve what they want to get. Okay, so this is a process of building relationship with peer manager as trusted partner. Okay, that means you need to build that trust with the peer managers. Rather than having them guessing what you want, you tell them honestly, what is the purpose of this project, what's the purpose of this change initiative, and what do you seek to achieve, and why do you want to get their help, okay? Foster that common purpose and common goal, okay? And then foster that two-of-a-kind feeling that we are in this boat together. We draw similarities, we are in a business partnership, not in competition. Create that mutual understanding of the situation. Now, don't assume that the way they understand the situation is the same as yours. Your perception and their perception could be very different. So in this collaboration relationship, try to align that perception as well as that understanding of the situation and the issues. Support each other in difficult times. Okay, sometimes you need their help, sometimes they need your help. So you kind of work together to solve problems together. Help them to solve their problems and provide solutions, ideas, and connections, okay, to your peer managers. Then you find that you're working together as a team, just like a soccer team, okay? That everybody play their role, everybody kind of play together and then do their best to support each other to get the goals. So, assertive communication, I really like this definition by Doolin in 1992, okay? In his book, Negotiate Like the Pros, he said that negotiation, very often we look at, okay, I want to win, okay? I want to get what I want, okay? Negotiation really is working side by side with another party. Not against, not facing each other, but we are walking side by side. We're walking towards the same direction together to achieve mutually beneficial and satisfactory results. So from this perspective, assertive negotiation really is to how to gain the support, how to achieve that win-win outcome. It's not just to get what you want, but you need to see behind what really matters, okay? Think about that political dynamics in this relationship, in this organization. What really matters? What are my rights? Sometimes you have more rights, okay? Sometimes you don't have any rights, okay? Particularly when you make mistakes, okay? And then you need the understanding and support from the other departments, then it's all the more difficult, okay? Then will I assert my rights? Even if you have the verdict or that empowerment from the top management, you may not want to assert that power too much, okay? If you want to appeal to them to their benefits and gain their support, and they support you willingly rather than being forced to support you or comply. How will I get what I want through effective negotiation with integrity and authenticity? Now, I feel that leading from the middle, you may not have the authority or the power to influence the others. Then you need to be honest with them and then be open to them about what you want and how you go about to achieve the solution together for their benefit as well as for your own benefits. So negotiate a win-win solution involves 4 steps. First, understand the person's or the other party's needs, viewpoints, and feelings. Okay, there are feelings, okay, particularly when there are conflicts or there are different kind of motivations. Then you need to understand those perspectives. Then define the key issues. Not all the issues are important, okay? You need to prioritize them. You need to focus on the most important issue that you want to deal with. Identify the mutual benefit of a win-win solution. Get their support by convincing them this is for your benefit. It's not just to achieve my project objective. It's to your own benefit that you collaborate with me. Construct that win-win solution as partners, okay? You work together, you're being flexible, you're being adaptive to find out innovative solutions to work together with your peer managers. Now, finally, we want to focus on strategies for leading team in transitions. Now, I often find that middle managers, when they're caught in the organizational change or some in between the top management and the direct reports, they find themselves powerless, okay? So first thing you need to do is to empower yourself. That means you are in charge. Now, I'm not saying that you are in decisions in a role to make decisions about organizational changes or say no to the top management. I'm not saying that, okay? What I'm saying is that in your particular area of work or your functions, you are in charge. Then you need to take charge. Now, the top management wouldn't know what is happening in your departments or not in your project team or whatever, things that you are doing. You are in charge. The top management rely on you to execute those change decisions in your particular functions and together with your teams. Inspire your team with a vision and mission, set a clear plan of actions, and focus on hard results, craft out roles and responsibility, and show a sense of urgency. Now, during organizational change, it's important that you give matching order. That means you're flexible to adapt, but you need to give very clear and direct instructions. Tell your team what do you want them to do, okay? Don't be ambivalent, okay? Don't hesitate to make decisions. They are there to expect you to give them something to anchor on, some direction that they can work together towards. Even though that is only a 1 day, 2 day, or 1 week kind of objective, focus on those short-term goals. Invite your employees to participate and help them to ventilate their feelings, deal with those emotions, and then try to reframe it from a positive perspective, and then rather than suppressing those emotions. Now, lay new communication pipelines. That means you need to communicate with them as a team and regularly, and sometimes even individually. Okay, talk to them. How do they feel about the change? How do they feel about the career development? How do they feel about their future? Okay, what do they want? So those are the conversation, that communication that you need to build with your team members. All the more the direct relationship is very important. They feel that you're not just there to execute those change decisions, but you care about them, and you also are considerate about their needs and feelings. Now, lastly, don't just focus on negative and resistant ones in the team. Leverage the positive forces to build up the momentum for change. So don't just focus on the negative people, okay? Yes, listen to them, address to those issues that they voice out is important, yet you need to bring those positive forces together and use them to create that momentum of change. And finally, change management is learning management. How do you go about to create that learning culture, that learning relationship, that learning environment, that your team can together learn new things, learn new skills and new knowledge in order to map out the future? That's something that we are moving together. We are doing things, new things, yes, we need to learn, and we can master those things, and we can execute those change effectively. So just to conclude, leading change from the middle by view change as a challenge. You have to see it positively. Take control for your future. Okay, yes, you're caught in the middle. You are helpless in a sense, and you are powerless in a sense, but you do have certain power. You do have certain control over things. Stay committed to your commission. Okay, I like the term commission rather than mission, because it's commission. You're entrusted with that mission. You are together. It is a commission that you are committed to the team. Engage the top, the middle, and your team to build that consolidation that we are in this together. I like this photo of this yacht kind of turning around in this very kind of versatile waters. And then if they cannot make the turn, they may run into the rocks and then have a shipwreck. Same thing about organizational change. You need to make turns, you need to move together, the whole team needs to work together with the captain and then to drive towards that destination. Finally, execute the tasks and targets until that final completion. Okay, focus on the goal and then motivate your team, work with your peer managers, and inform and support your top management in execute those changes. That is leading change from the middle. Yes, it's not easy, but it can be done. Thank you.